Hello everybody, this is Kyle Ott for Draftradio. I'm sorry, I know this is a little atypical. We were having some problems. I assume my software was going to be working when we started the draft, but I mean, hey, that happens. Our first pick so far, we're doing an M15 draft. Our first pick was Soul of Ravnica, great flyer. You can't really go wrong with a 6-mana, 6/6 flyer. And if they kill it, you can just exile it, and occasionally you'll draw 2 cards or 1 card. An Into the Void, which is a great tempo card, and then a Divine Verdict. So we've got some great removal to start off with. Again, I really apologize, guys. I know this is a little atypical, but didn't know if I was going to be able to actually get an M15 draft in, and I'm really glad that we can. Untap finally has the M15 cards up, which makes me super, super, super excited, and we're just all chilling out right now, which is pretty sweet. So, our opponents are taking their time when I'm glad we got this fixed. So, it looks like we've got a couple AFK players, but that's okay. As long as they know that I'm still here. Yeah, I don't mind this start either. We got a nice little bomb. Soul of Ravnica is definitely... It's certainly not the best soul, but it is a decent soul. And this is an interesting pick. There's a Military Intelligence, which we can take. I don't mind. I think the best cards in the pack are Flesh to Dust and Divine Verdict. I think Flesh to Dust is better than Divine Verdict, personally. But, I mean, we've already got one Divine Verdict, and following it up with a second one is a pretty good way to start a draft, so not too shabby, I don't think. Wow, black seems super open, though. Carrion Crow is a really good card. I mean, even if it comes into play tapped, as Louis Scott Vargas said, a Windrake is still a Windrake. And black doesn't get those too often, so. There's also a Gravedigger, which is really good. I'm surprised Gravedigger's not uncommon in this set, though. First response, which seems decent. I think our pick is going to be Gargoyle Sentinel, as it keeps us basically keeps us commitment free for a while. A 3-mana 3/3 flyer is pretty decent. So even if you have to pay some conditional cost to go with it. Blue seems to have dried up. However, Siege Worm is kind of insane. Convoke is just really good in this set too. I mean, the best card in the pack is Siege Worm. The only other card that I'm considering taking would be Amphin Pathmage or Living Totem, but I think Siege Worm is so much better. There's also an Evolving Wilds for consideration, but Siege Worm is what we're going to be taking. And that's a pretty late turn to Frog. Yeah, I mean, we'll grab Removal. Removal is always good, so turn to Frog is what we're taking. See what we... Oh, what? Okay then. Well, there's a Sengir Vampire, which is really decent, so that's what we're going to be taking. Ornithopter is still garbage. Living Totem is the next best card in the pack, although I still have no idea how to evaluate Jur Urabai, Merc Lurker, but we're going to take the Vampire and see what else happens. Necrobite's fine, but I like Typhoid Rats better than I like a Combat Trick, so we'll take Typhoid Rats. I'm sure Kirkesh Onake Ancient is cool, but Covenant in Blood is cooler. Again, Carrion Crow is awesome. Wow, these are incredible black wheels. I can hide that Siege Worm, I guess. I'll take Nimbus of the Isles. I think it's better than Hunt the Weak, and Undergrowth Scavenger's fine, but we'll take Nimbus. Man, oh man. This is awesome. I can't believe we wheeled Vampire into Rats, into Covenant, into Carrion Crow. That seems insane. And we still have our Gargoyle Sentinel, which is going to make the cut in the deck anyway. And then Turn to Frog, Nimbus of the Isles, the Void, Into the Void, and the Soul. And then the 2 Divine Verdicts. If we get like 2 Evolving Wilds, I don't mind splashing for the Verdicts. It's certainly not something that I'm opposed to. I guess do I want Gravedigger or Crow? I probably just want Gravedigger, right? I can tutor for my bomb, get my bombs back. That could be a mispick, depending on what type of deck I'm playing, but I think we're aiming to be more control-y. Plus, if I do wind up playing... Like, regardless, Gravedigger is going to be bringing back Sengir if I wind up in black, and if I wind up in black-blue, it's going to bring back Soul of Ravnica and Sengir. So, yeah, doesn't seem like a mispick too much. Although, I like Carrion Crow quite a bit, so we'll see what happens. If I pick up 2 Evolving Wilds, too, like I said, I have no qualms about splashing for those 2 Divine Verdicts. Peel from Reality is really good. There is another Siege Worm. Shield of the Avatar is fine, I guess. But the card that we're going to be taking is another Sengir Vampire. I mean, seriously. This card was first pick bomb. in core set draft for centuries. Not for centuries, but since 1993 when it came out. So, Sangre Vampire is what we're grabbing. I feel no shame in taking that card because it's amazing. Wall of Frost is here, and Wall of Frost does seem pretty good. There's also Venom Sliver, which is a card that's just really nice. Even if you don't have any slivers, this card is decent. But, well, at least that's what I've heard. I've been reading up since they haven't had M15 up on Untap yet. I've been reading up a lot on what the pros have been saying, and a lot of pros really like Venom Sliver. And by a lot, I mean Luis Scott Vargas, who is amazing at Magic. But I think the picks for us are going to be between Wall of Frost and a Cursed Spirit. And I think a Cursed Spirit's just a good win condition. So that's what we're taking. Hopefully we'll get like a Zoff Shade or a Black Cat. We'll see what wheels out of that. But I'm happy with a Cursed Spirit. There was also a Brawler's Plate, but I'm under the impression that that might be just a little too clunky. All of this is crap. Like, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap. Except for, like, Shaman of Spring is good, Witch's Familiar is fine, Fester Gloom is okay. We're taking Void Snare, though. Void Snare is just easily the best card by leaps and bounds. Now, there's that Evolving Wilds that we wanted. However, there's also a Stab Wound, and we're taking Stab Wound, so not too shabby. Alright, I can grab a Necrogen Scudder, which is just a nice little aggressive flyer. I can grab a Bronze Sable, or I can grab an Amphin Pathmage. I think I actually just want the Scudder. 3-mana 3/3 flyers are great, even if you have to pay 3 life for them. So that's what we're going to grab. Hopefully we wheel the Bronze Sable. I mean, I'm not going to play Fugitive Wizard, so we'll take the Scudder. And we do get a Black Cat. There's a Howling Griff, which is just the strangest artwork I've ever seen. But I think the pick for us... there's another Amphin Pathmage too, which I like, but I think the pick is between Meteorite, which would allow us to splash for those Divine Verdicts should we choose, or another Turn to Frog. And I like Turn to Frog. Turn to Frog's fine, so we'll take that. Alright, this is interesting. We did get a Black Cat, which I don't necessarily want over another Scudder or an Accursed Spirit. I'm probably going to take the Accursed Spirit and hope we get like a wall or something. I'm going to hide these Divine Verdicts now while I get the chance. Yeah, we'll just take a Cursed Spirit here. I think a Cursed Spirit is only a little bit better than Necrogen Scudder. If this was like 2 life as opposed to 3 life, I think I would Whirlwind Slam this, but I've already got one of them, and I don't want to be losing a lot of life as the control deck, so. And Aeronaut Tinker is cool, but there's also like a Walking Corpse I wouldn't mind having. Coral Barrier is actually a really awesome card. There's also Amphin Pathmage, which is familiar. I actually think the pick for us is between Amphin Pathmage and Coral Barrier, and I'm actually going to take the Barrier. I mean, for 3 mana, you're getting 2 power and 4 toughness spread across 2 bodies. It's just really nice to have around. So, and plus, we've already got a Cursed Spirits, we've got Flyers, we've got things to deal with, and with our 2 Turn to Frogs, Coral Barrier actually is pretty good. So, that's what we're taking. Statute of Denial is fine. I'm not going to play... I might play Research. I might take Research Assistant, actually, now that I'm looking at this. Because 4 mana, I could probably pick up a spell like this. I mean, it's a really crappy Merfolk Looter, but it's also a 2-mana 1/3. Holds down the ground for us. You know, lets us siphon our deck in the late game. And I really don't need Statute of Denial, so I'll grab Research Assistant. I'm sure I can pick up a 4-mana counter at some other point. So there's a Rot Feaster Maggot, a Chrono Stutter, an Aeronaut Tinkerer. I don't even know if there's any good artifacts in this set to make Tinkerer worth grabbing, as opposed to grabbing the Zoff Shade. I mean, I'm not going to grab Chrono Stutter. I've got plenty of ways to deal with stuff. I mean, my 5 and my 6 drop slots look fine, too, so I'll probably just grab Tinkerer. And if there's not a good artifact, then there's not a good artifact. And if there is a good artifact, then we've got ourselves a 3-mana 2/3 flyer, which is always good. Take the Fester Gloom. The rest of this is crap, so happy to see Covenant in Blood. That might actually make the cut. And we got a Bronze Sable, which plays nicely with our Aeronaut Tinker. Also, we already have one good artifact in Gargoyle Sentinels. Forgot about that. And one of the Lucky Charms, which we're not going to play. Yeah, this is coming along pretty nicely. Let's see what else we've got. Juggernaut is good. just does work. There's also a Mercurial Pretender, which is probably pretty sweet. Yeah, we'll grab the Pretender. I mean, being able to clone our Sengers or our Soul of Ravnica seems good. I mean, otherwise I'd be taking either Peel from Reality or Juggernaut, but I'll try Pretender. Pretender seems decent. It also reminds me of a Foo Fighters song, so there's that. Wall of Limbs does not seem that good, because I'm not going to be gaining life. I mean, the best card in here is probably Stoke the Flames. I mean, Phyto Titan seems kind of cool, but I think Stoke the Flames is way better. However, the card that we're going to be taking is, I think, either Typhoid Rats or Carrion Crow, and I'm under the impression that we want the Crow. Being able to take the... Or, no, I think we want Rats. It's either the choice between taking Rats for our early game or taking Crow as like a sort of a win condition, and I like the Rats. We're a little more controlly than that, I think. Wow, this pack is bonkers. Holy crap. Cone of Flame is insanity. As is Spectral Ward, by the way. BT dubs and Spectral Ward is ridiculous. I think the best card in here is either Frost Links or Welkin Turn. I'll probably just take Frost Links. Yeah, I got plenty of... Well, nah, I'll take Welkin Turn. I want more flyers. There's also a Sign in Blood, which is pretty good for us too, but... So Sign in Blood, Welkin Turn, or Frost Links. I'll take the Welkin Turn. Cheap flyers. Cheap flyers are always good. There's another Typhoid Rats, although there's also a Dissipate, and I don't know if I necessarily want a counterspell in the deck. I probably do want a counterspell, and 3-mana counterspells aren't bad. Well, that's not necessarily true. They are bad, but they're not necessarily bad in a set that is as slow as Coreset, so that's what I'm grabbing. And Jor Rubai Murklurker actually seems kind of cool, because A, it is a 3-mana 2/4, and B, I can give my guys lifelink, which seems kind of awesome. So, that's what we're taking. Get ourselves a Glacial Wall, which is nice. Oh, but there's a Grind Clock. I don't normally like Mill, but Grind Clock is actually really good as an alternate win condition, so that's what we'll be taking. We're taking Grind Clock.
Sure, that's fine.
There's a Mind Rot, a Caustic Tar, Invisibility, Caustic Tar.
Okay, bye.
It's an unblockable 6-drop finisher, so Caustic Tar is what we'll grab. I don't really need Mind Rot and Mind Sculpt. I already have a lot of unblockable stuff, so Invisibility is not that great for us. So Caustic Tar it is. I wonder how good Willforged Golem is. Our 2 and our 3-drop slot seems pretty good. I don't know if we'll actually play this dude. Because the other pick would be Covenant in Blood. Or Covenant of Blood. Sorry. Watch as I misread cards. Yeah, we'll try Willforged Golem. I'll try anything once. Why not, right? Crippling Blight seems good. Although there is a Juggernaut, too. Juggernaut's a card I really like in Coreset. A lot of times, most of the time, the attacking each turn, if able, isn't really a drawback. And most of the time, people are playing like 4-mana 3/3s or something equivalent to that in power level. But then again, there's also Crippling Blight. We'll take Juggernaut. Better to take a good creature. Also, it synergizes very nicely with our Aeronaut Tinker, which we did get some sweet artifacts for Tinkerer. We got Grind Clock, we have the Gargoyle, we have the Juggernaut, the Willforged Golem. We'll take Carrion Crow. I'm not going to take another 6-drop here. I'd rather just have a flyer. Not going to take Thundering Giant, Verdant Haven. I probably won't play Sacred Armory. I'll just take that. Oh, we will the Typhoid Rats, though. That's pretty sweet. I mean, Wall of Limbs is bad, but Leeching Sliver doesn't seem that great. We'll just take these cards because I just don't need them. Alright. Yeah, this seems good, though. This deck seems really good. I'm probably not going to play Bronze Sable, though. Yeah. All is right, I think, with the Draft Radio world. We just need to figure out a way to, like, which cards we want to cut. But I don't think that should be too hard. So, also, I'm using my other account because I didn't expect to hop on and get a draft this quickly, but we did, so. I'm still, don't worry, it's still me. I'm still Draft Radio. Don't be alarmed. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Alright, so we've got Caustic Tar. Oh, the old illustration for that is so much cooler. What the heck? Nimbus of the Isles, Grind Clock. Okay, so the first things first, we can probably cut one Covenant in Blood. Pretty slow. We can probably cut Caustic Tar. We can probably cut Festering Gloom, or Fester Gloom, simply because we have so many different things. Also, these are unknown, which means I don't know if Untap will have them, but we'll find out if it does. Let's just remember, too, some of these cards that we're taking out, because in case I get to Untap and the illustrations aren't there, which people have promised me that they are, but in case that they aren't, I would like to be prepared. Let's see, what else am I taking out here? Interesting. I could probably take out Bronze Sable. In all honesty, I really don't think I need just a random 2/1. I've got the Typhoid Rats. I can probably take out the Research Assistant. It doesn't seem that great for me, so that's what we'll take out. All right, now let's refresh this bad boy and see what we're. Well, there's a problem with your action. That's what I think. Person. Oh, it cut both Covenants again. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see. We do have our Curse Spirits, our Aeronaut Tinker. We've got our guys. I probably can cut Tinkerer, in all honesty. It's just a 3-mana 2/3 most, like 90% of the time. So we'll do that. I'm gonna leave Grind Clock in. Grind Clock's just like a hard to stop win condition, basically. It's like Millstone, but better. Most of the time, it's like Millstone, but better. And we do have Welcome Turns. We get a lot of nice little cheap flyers. The Jarabi Dude. The Turn to Frog. The Dissipate. I can probably cut Dissipate. Alright. Got our 2 Turn to Frogs. Into the Void. Or Into the Void. Void Snare. That brings us to 20, 22, 24... 25, 26, so we just have to cut 3 more cards. We could probably cut 3 creatures. We'll cut Willforged Golem. Doesn't seem that great. I like all of my 3 and my 4 drops. Maybe we actually want to cut Void Snare. Although I guess Nimbus of the Isles isn't all that impressive, but I think it's pretty good. Yeah, Nimbus of the Isles is probably not all that impressive. Maybe, I don't know. This is my problem. This is my first draft of it that I've done. I've watched people do drafts of this set because it's been so long since it was actually out on tap. So I've been really trying to find good stuff since 19, 21, 23, 24, 25. Let's just do this. Let's put this in untap under a 9/8 split, and let's see if they can find the cards. If they can't find the cards, watch as I forget my own password. If they can't find the cards, then we've cut 2 cards from the deck, and it's going to be alright anyway. Beauty and the Jank, which we never actually got to play. Such sadness. It was a really fun cube deck, but that's alright. Sometimes you draft fun stuff, and it doesn't actually come out the way that you want it to. See, I'm not a huge fan of Mill, like for Grind Clock, but I am a huge fan of alternate win conditions, especially one that doesn't require constant card advantage. Okay, so it did recognize those, which means we have to figure out other cards that we want to cut. I think we can probably cut 1 Typhoid Rats out of the deck, and then maybe our Void Snare. Yeah, maybe I should leave the Typhoid Rats in, because then I could cut Void Snare on like a Turn to Frog and get my Covenant of Bloods back. See, I don't know what I want to do. 19, 22, 21, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, I still have to cut 2 more. Balls, man. Just balls. That's all I have to say to that. Let's cut a Typhoid Rat and a Void Snare. And let's see how it does. Hopefully this does well. Again, we can make our sideboard can be Covenant of Blood, Covenant of Blood, Caustic Tar, and Dissipate. Yeah, that seems like a good sideboard. Plus 1 swamp, or 2 swamp, and 2 island, just in case we actually need it. So, alright. Let's save this deck. Card not found, Dissipate. Oh, did I spell it wrong? I probably spelled it wrong. That's usually my issue with this stuff. Alright, guys. Well, hopefully I will see you in round 1. And I'm pretty excited. This is our first M15 draft, so pretty pumped. Alright, guys. Take it easy. And again, I will see you in our first match.